So this is the second video looking at Sona drawings and throwing in some weaving along with it. So in the first video, we looked at a 3x4 grid, which yielded one continuous path, and then we wove it on our little nail board. And I took it off, and I did this sort of after the fact. I tightened up the knot, and it came out pretty cool. I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. All right, it's a nice little knot, and I could tie these ends off and hang it off my bag if I wanted. It's just kind of a really cool little thing. It's kind of a tedious thing to cinch up the slack, but if you're patient with it, it comes out pretty cool. All right. So now we're going to look at a different outcome with these Sona drawings. So this time, let's take a look at a 3x6. So I'm going to make 6 sort of columns of 3 dots here, or 3 rows of 6 dots. Now, again, you want to do this on square paper or make a square grid or graph paper and just make the dots where the grid lines intersect. You don't have to make these dots if you already have dot paper. Some people might find it kind of redundant, but I think for me it helps to just focus on where my grid is. Okay? All right, so here we go. First path is going to be entering here. Again, 45-degree angles. I'm going to come in at a 45-degree angle here. Now make my 90-degree turn. Another 90 turn. 90, 90, 90, and look at that. Ended up right back where I started. And it's a very nice symmetrical path, but I didn't go around all of the pegs, all the dots. So let me grab a second color here. And this time I'll come in this direction here. Traveling at 45 degrees, make my 90-degree turn. Now make a 180, 90, and ended up back where I started again. So now I've got 2 colors involved, 2 paths, but I didn't hit every single peg. So let me grab a third color here. And this time maybe I'll come in down this way at a negative 45-degree angle here. Make a 90-degree turn. Now 180, 90, and would you look at that? I ended up back there. It's a really cool, especially if you do the colors, it's a really cool looking design, right? Okay, just very satisfying to look at, but this required 3 continuous paths. So this was a 3x6. Why did I need 3 paths? Well, let's look at the math behind it real quick. So 3 and 4 are what we call relatively prime. So a prime number means the only numbers that divide into it are 1 and itself with no remainder. 3 is a prime number, but 4 is not. But these are relatively prime because the only common factor they share is 1. All right, so play with that. Make some paths where the 2 numbers, the length and the width, are relatively prime to each other, and you should only need 1 continuous path. All right? So for example, if I were to do a path that measured, say, 2x5. All right, let's look at that real quick. This is a 2x5. So this 2x5, 2 and 5 are relatively prime because there's no other common factor between them besides 1. So let's do this real quick. Look at that. Okay, so 1 path. All right. So why did our 3x6 require 3 paths? Well, 3 is prime, but 6 is not. But what's the lowest common factor? So the lowest common factor, not 1, right? So we're going to sort of ignore 1. So the lowest common factor that these share in common is 3, which is why it required 3 paths. Okay? So play with that. Play with different size grids and just check out the math and see what you notice and wonder about these Sona drawings. So now I'm going to take this 3x6 and I'm going to show it to you on the pegboard. So because we needed 3 paths, 3 colors, I need 3 colors of string, or in this case, paracord. All right. So I'm going to start first with the black. Okay. So 3x6, I'm not going to use the bottom row of my nails here. I'm going to come in at my 45-degree angle here. take out the slack as much as I can. Okay, so there's the first part of it, right? 45 in, 90-degree turn, 90-degree turn. Now I'm going to make another 90-degree turn. By the way, this is a sine curve right here. Shows you in some of the advanced maths. All right, so now we're going to go 90 around this corner here, 90 around here, 90 around here. Okay, so you get this cool little infinity symbol. And again, this was the red path that we did first on our paper grid. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie off my loose ends here and try and take out as much slack as I can. I'm just going to do an overhand knot. Try and cinch this up as much as I can here. Okay, so there's that. All right, so I'm going to grab my second color. So I'm going to grab the green here, I guess. Now, on this one, I've kind of played with this a little bit. I'm going to actually come in from the opposite end, from the black, okay? So here we come in here. Now you can enter in at any point on your grid. Again, I'm going to try to take out as much slack as I can. Now, I want to try and do the over-under pattern that I did in the previous video. So I'm going to go over this and under this. So I just went under, now I'm going to go over and under. You want to make sure you stay on the correct sides of the pegs, right? So let's make sure I'm good here. I'm going over, under, over, under. I'm going to make my 180 turn, over, under, over, under, over again. Okay? Now, when I was playing with this previously off camera on my own, I was bothered by the fact that both of these ends here were over. But trust me, I know what I'm doing here, I think. All right, so I'm just going to knot this off, a little overhand knot. Okay. So we've got 2 of our 3 paths. So we need one more. And I'm going to use my purple cord here. And I'm going to come in at this entry here. Try and take out some of the slack. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to start by going over. So now I'm going to go under. And then over. And then under. This is where having a shoelace was nice because it had that little plastic tip on the end of it. All right, so let's see if I got this started right. So I did over, under, over, under. I take out as much slack as I can. All right, make my 90-degree turn. So I just went under. So I want to go over the black, under the green, over the green, under the black. Okay, just that alternating over, under. Pull it tight, make sure I'm on the proper side of the nails. Okay, now I'm going to make my 180. So I just went under here. I'm going to go over and under. Over and under. Okay, let's make sure I did that pass right. So from here, I'm over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay. And almost back to the beginning now. So I just went under here. So now I'm going to go over, under, over, under, and over again. Okay, and again, notice how the 2 purple ends are on top of the black. And again, when I was doing this last night, I was bothered by that, but I think it's going to work out okay. All right, let me tie this off. Get a nice little square knot again. Or excuse me, overhand knot. All right. Okay. So we got that all knotted off. Okay. So this is where I'm a little nervous because I was thinking that here I need to have an over under on the purple over under the green, otherwise it would fall apart when I take it off. So let's take it off and hope for the best here. So again, you want nails that have a small head on them so that you can slide it off the pegs easily. So I'm just going to slide it off, get my pegboard out of the way. All right, now here's sort of the reason behind why I did the knots on the opposite ends. I'm going to grab this black knot and the purple and green knot, and I'm just going to sort of pull these together here. All right, and it makes kind of a neat little knot. There might be a technical name for this knot. I don't know. You know, just going to take out the slack here. But it's a pleasing looking knot. I like the pattern in it. The color pattern is pretty cool. But the amazing thing is that it held together. You know, I was really, when I first did it, because I didn't have that over under on the corners, I was really skeptical that it was going to hold together. You know, this held together nicely because it was one continuous path, and that over under pattern really secured it all together. All right, but this over under pattern worked pretty nicely even with the 3 strands. So just have fun with these Sona drawings. They're really, really meditative. There's some really fascinating history behind it, so I encourage you to do some research on them. And I really appreciate you watching, and good luck. Enjoy.